YASHARAHLA! All right, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. And this is another Bible study lesson, a warning under the Fair Use Act. This is, I'm not profiting from this video. This is for educational purposes, for edification, for Bible study and exhortation and edification of our people. All right, the Negroes, all right, blacks, Native Americans, Latinos of Negro descent who are scattered around the world. Okay, we are the children of Israel. All right, we're waking up. Okay, a remnant of us. All right, is coming together under the will of the Most High, our Heavenly Father, whose name is YAHAWAH, which means He is, and His Son, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name is YAHAWASHI, all right, and the Holy Spirit. All right, with that, I'm going to show this lesson. All right, it's a very timely lesson because 2020 is the year of Bible prophecy, okay, and it's the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, it's officially began. Bible prophecy is being fulfilled, and this video will show that the mark of the beast is definitely here.
Man with machine and make people pretty much robots that they can track and trace wherever they are. If they misbehave, they could turn them off pretty much. You know, and this is what these devils are trying to do. They're trying to be like the Most High. You know, because man is in the hands of the Most High, and man pretty much is a robot. You know, we're pretty much robots for the Lord. Whatever the Lord wants us to do, that's what we do. You know, and this is what Esau wants. They want somebody to be totally obedient to him and bow to his will. And if they don't, then he can come down with the wrath and not provide for them, take away their goodies until they behave. See, this is why the scriptures say that they said that they will be like the Most High, which knows what we're going to get to that precept. So let's listen to some of this, and let's take it from there.
Now I'm going to read and point you guys to this very great and short article post here. Links will be below regarding this Bill Gates' great magnum opus project, as this article post elegantly and accurately states. And we're talking about Luciferus or Luciferos. What is that? Well, it's an enzyme in the quantum dot tattoo. Quantum dot tattoo and the seeding energies of the light bearer. So let's get into it here. Sometime late in the 19th century, French pharmacologist Raphael Dubois extracted the oxidative enzymes necessary to generate bioluminescence light. Think fireflies, jellyfish, and certain fungi. Those two chemicals are luciferin and luciferase, or luciferus, names of which he personally coined. They're derived from its Latin counterpart, Lucifer, and the name means light bearer, of course. From the moment I began warning people about ID 2020, Bill Gates' magnum opus project, which promises to assign every man, woman, and child on earth a digital identification mark, I have stumbled upon
every man, woman, and child to assign them a digital identification mark, because everything is being merged to the computer, and this is why they created the computer. You know, they didn't create the computer. I mean, they created the computer for themselves to communicate with each other, but ultimately to merge man with machine. And there's old movies that they made that kind of hint to that, but at the time they didn't make any sense. Like there's a movie with Robert Duvall, THX11, something along that line, and I watched it. You know, I really didn't understand it too tough, but now that more information is out and this technology is being pushed, I may go back and watch it again and see, you know, if there's anything I could pick up on it. But pretty much this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to create the perfect robot. This is what they want. And this is why they're using The main thing they're using is technology and finance, or technology
Like $6
and
million
money.
man,
And this is
RoboCop.
why they created the FRNs, because they were using the FRNs to eventually make them the exchange currency, or the currency of the world. You know, there's another term for it. I can't think of it right now. But eventually, with that currency, what they wanted to do is they wanted to enslave the people by way of debt. Because there's no way you can pay a debt with a debt, because you're always going to be chasing that debt, you know, behind it. So eventually it's going to get so bad financially that these devils will start calling their debts. And with nothing else, no collateral to pay the debt, what happens? You become the debt. Your lands become the debt. Your inheritance becomes the debt. Let's go real quick to the book of Proverbs. And this is why the scriptures speak about the rich ruling over the poor. Proverbs 22:7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. The one that borrows is servant to the one that lends. And what do we read in the curses concerning the nation of Israel, and what would happen to us as a people for disobeying the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High? Well, one of the curses that came upon us, which we will read here in Deuteronomy 28 and 43, the stranger that is within thee, meaning the other nations, shall get up above thee very high. And they have done that. They have gotten up above us very high. Because we were at the top, they were our servants, because they were created to be our slaves. But then they wax rich, as the scriptures tell you in the law, that if you have a stranger that waxes rich, and your brother happens to fall in decay and becomes a servant, you were able to redeem your brother from that. So it says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And we have come down very low. Because when people think about borrowing money, when people think about doing business, when people think about, you know, financial things, they're not thinking about Jake. They're not thinking about the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, so-called Native American Indians. They ain't thinking about them as businessmen to come to make money off of. They're mainly thinking about Edomites. They're mainly thinking about Moabites. They're mainly thinking about Ammonites, you know, Ishmaelites, Elamites, you know, different nations, especially the Edomites, which is the so-called white man, in order for them to get any type of business deals. They're not looking to us as a people, because why? We fell from that great state that we had. So it says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Why? Because we were going to be low. They were going to be high. It says, 16 verse, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. So our basket and our store was going to be cursed, meaning that financially, we weren't going to be doing so good. So pretty much that's why we live paycheck to paycheck. Pretty much. You know, for the most part, Jake lives paycheck to paycheck. And it's funny because you would think that these celebrities that have done all these works, have done all this stuff, sold their soul, it seems on camera and on TV that they got it all together, on the big screen, you know, on the videos, that they got all kind of money, but even they're struggling. Even they're saying that they're pretty much a paycheck or two from being bankrupt, a paycheck or two from being homeless, a paycheck or two from not being able to pay their bills. Especially the Israelites. Why? Because this is a curse. So it says, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. So your money is going to be cursed, and your store is going to be cursed. Meaning the money that you have, you're going to barely have enough to pay for stuff. The money's going to go like that quickly. You know, and as far as your store is concerned, it's talking about a bank account in these times. You know, and most Jakes may have a bank account, but they don't have bank accounts where they got millions and billions of dollars in it. You know, one or two things can happen to where they fall in, into a rut, or they get into a serious jam and have to dig into that bank account. Maybe 1 or 2 times they can do it, and after that, pretty much those funds are depleted. Why? Because curse shall be thy basket, and curse shall be thy store. And it says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So we're at the bottom. We're at the this is why Jake is always going to the government. Jake is always going to Esau. And that's what the Lord said, that the remnant of Jacob shall no more stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHEM YAHAWASHI, in truth. And this is why the truth is so important, because the truth is our bank account. The truth is our riches. And this is why, let's go real quick to Matthew chapter 10 and verse, is it 10 or is it 6? Let's go to Matthew 6, 6 and 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Yeah, because these riches on the earth are temporary. That's why we read, let's go real quick to, what is it? Is that Proverbs 27? Come on, man. Proverbs 27. Nope. Is it Proverbs 23? Yes, Proverbs 23 and 5. I'll start at 4. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? What is that? That's these so-called riches. And this is talking about actual riches. So how much less the stuff that we have now that people believe that is called riches, these FRNs, these paper dollars. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. So pretty much what we have is temporary. It's not even real money. It just has a semblance of money. It has the sound of money. It's called money, but it's not money at all. When you go back into the so-called Constitution, which says that the money of the is supposed to be expressed in dollars. Dollars, quarters, nickels, dimes, all that's not money. That is a measurement of money. See? There's a difference between gold and silver and the weight. A dollar is nothing more than a weight for actual money, gold and silver. But they don't make gold and silver here anymore. The dollar bills that you get are not backed by gold and silver anymore, like they used to be in the past. You see? So what we have is nothing. So this right here in Proverbs is talking about actual riches: gold, silver, precious stones, tin, metal, all the cattle, land. But how much more, or how much less the stuff that we have that's not riches at all? So going back to Matthew 6:19, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. What are the treasures in heaven? Meaning these works. This is the bank account that we can draw from, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Because once these riches are there, they're stored there. That's a part, and then when we get into a jam, we're able to withdraw out of that spiritual bank account to help us in our situations. It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And you see that, wherever a man's heart is, or treasure is, that's where his heart's going to be. If his heart is in his riches, if he has great riches, that's where his mind is going to be. The scriptures tell you in the Apocrypha that riches drive sleep away. Constantly thinking about money and thinking about, this investment and that investment, that drives away sleep. And then when people have money, they're afraid that other people are going to come and take it. So it could be a blessing, but a curse also at the same time to have, All right, so now let's go, where were we? so let's go back.
On a multitude of Bible believers. Okay, let's move on to this here. I'm not sure what else I or anybody else can possibly say to convince everyone of the...
You know what? You brothers put some good precepts on. I'm going to read some of these precepts.